Shall we start?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to Winona, I Love You, a show about a bird who loves a town. I am that bird, Henry B. Heron, and today I'm with my friend Mike Munson.
Let's shake it, Henry.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Great.
Good. So tell me, Mike, what do you do?
I do all sorts of stuff. Hang out at home and garden and have these cats in the house. I also play music quite a bit.
Very nice. What kind of music do you play, Mike?
I play all sorts of kinds of music. Anything that usually has guitar, though. Though I love blues and old American music and jazz and a lot of traditional music, like old songs from some from a long time ago, because I find that important to keep a tradition alive. And songs that I write that aren't any of that, too.
Oh, very cool. So, what originally got you interested in music, Mike?
I would say it's so long ago now, you know? It's just like, I remember distinctly watching the movie Back to the Future and being super excited about guitar because of Back to the Future.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie, and a lot of good stuff in that, especially like Chuck Berry music and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what got me going.
Awesome. Very cool. And how long have you been making music?
I started playing guitar in 6th grade, I think. So how old are you when you're like 12 or 13?
Yeah, something like that.
And
Birds don't go to 6th grade.
No, I bet. I suppose you don't. Why would you? Yeah.
No reason.
Who needs it?
Who needs it?
Well, lots of people need it, I suppose.
Not birds.
Okay.
Birds aren't people, though. Except for me. I guess. I don't know. Am I a person to you?
Let's talk about that later.
Okay. So, 6th grade, 12. Means a lot of years, right?
It means a lot of years.
Yeah. And tell me, how long did it take for you to really feel like you knew what you were doing?
Ooh, I don't know yet. I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet?
I'm not there
Yeah,
yet.
that's a good answer. I've had that answer a couple times, and I think that's a good place to be.
I'm not there yet.
Always learning, right?
Exactly.
Always getting better.
Hopefully, ultimately better.
Someday.
Someday.
So, Mike, what is the most exciting part of the process for you making music?
The most exciting part of the process. That's a good question because there's so many different parts of it. Part of it is hanging out here in my basement where we're at and where I get to play.
Yeah.
Sometimes other people come over and we play, and sometimes it's for pure enjoyment. Sometimes it's for a project that we're working on. We got to get something together, and that part's fun. And then bringing it to other places, to rehearsals, is fun. But then bringing it to a place for an actual show or concert or what have you, is that part's fun. And then hearing the feedback of that was, you know, great or not great, even that part's fun sometimes, to know that you can do better, or, you know. So I like every single part of it.
Awesome. Does living in Winona inspire your work at all?
No, totally, every day.
Really?
Winona's fantastic.
Oh, wow. I agree.
Exactly. Otherwise you wouldn't come here every year.
Right. Exactly.
Do you migrate?
Well, most herons do. But, I mean, it's coming on winter, and I'm not planning on going anywhere because I like it here so much.
You know good people.
I do know good people.
What was your question? Why Winona's great?
Well, mostly does it inspire your work, but also why is it so great?
Yeah. It does in a lot of ways. So we were talking about the tradition in the history of old songs, especially blues, is rooted in the state of Mississippi, which is connected to the Mississippi River and Highway 61 both.
I love the river.
Yeah, me too. So Highway 61 and the Mississippi River are both direct connections to the state of Mississippi, which is called the birthplace of blues and the birthplace of American music. So I've gone down to Mississippi numerous times, and I always take Highway 61 there, and I always take Highway 61 home.
Oh, wow.
And the Mississippi River is so prominent, and it's the same one that we have here and the same road that we have here. And so that is just a direct connection that I really love and enjoy. But then also just being able to be in this community apart from its natural beauty and getting out canoeing and hanging out on the river. So many great people having creative ideas and trying different things, and that's an exciting place to be.
Definitely.
Also.
So tell me, Mike, do you think much about your audience when you write your music? Or is it more just about you?
Whoa, getting personal here.
I get personal.
Sometimes it's a little of both, and sometimes it's not any of those. Some of my favorite musings about writing music are that you try to act like a radio. You know, I don't know if you've ever used a radio, but you like tune in the dial and it gets crackly, and sometimes you hit a radio station and then the signal comes through. So in playing music, I think that's what people are trying to do, trying to connect to something maybe even bigger than myself, and hopefully maybe even bigger than the audience, and to tap into something that is maybe just in the air. Who's that?
No, who's that?
This is Mingus the cat.
Ah, hi, Mingus the cat.
He's a black cat. We've been hanging out for a long time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
He looks very comfortable.
He is. Sometimes he gets a little too comfortable.
You alluded to the blues tradition.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of music do you play? Do you play the blues?
Sometimes. Yeah. I think mostly that's what I play.
Oh, cool.
But I like to play other kinds of music too. And we're getting to a point where I don't know, music is just music, especially guitar music. I just like it, and it can be so wide ranging.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to acknowledge blues and the place it plays in the history of American music, and being the very root of rock and roll and early rock and roll, and now we call classic rock, and even hip hop, and the music that everybody loves can all be directly traced back to blues, and it's such an important art form that came up. Mingus agrees too. I think he was just.
Yeah, I agree too, Mingus. Even though I never even knew that before. That's great. And do you play around town here very much?
I do play around town. Sometimes more than others. I think right now I'm in a little bit of a quiet time, but that's just kind of November and December in general. But I'll play kind of wherever. I like playing at farmers market. I like playing outside on the levee by the river. I like playing down at Ed's. I like playing in some of the art galleries. I like playing in some of the festivals and some of the bigger theater spots we have in town. I like all that.
Yeah, it sounds like there's plenty of venues for you to play at.
There's so many places to go to play, and all of them are a little different, and the people that come are different in all the places, even though Winona is considered kind of a small town. It's really not, you could see different people every day.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great. And do you always play music by yourself, Mike?
Not all the time. I do quite a bit. But there's a handful of people I play with regularly from different places.
Sure.
And so I definitely enjoyed that. Sometimes I play in a band called the Old Fashions here in town.
Yeah, I think I've heard them play before.
Fun, yeah, and that's some really good friends. And when we get together, we play like 50s rock and roll, which is really fun.
That sounds fun.
It is fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then when I'm on my own, I play blues or just some songs I wrote. And then sometimes I play with my friend Jake, and then we play songs that we wrote together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you two have a band name together?
Yeah, when we play together, we call it Land at Last.
Land at Last. Awesome.
Land at Last.
And where can the people at home go to listen to some of your music?
Well, it's on the internet. Do you know about the internet?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, keep it that way.
Okay.
There's a lot on the internet, but also the best way is just to find where some of these bands are playing and try to come see them.
Okay.
So like watch the newspaper and read about where the Old Fashions are playing or Land at Last or I'm playing and come to think, because I think that's where music is its best, is when you see it in person.
Definitely.
But then you can, like get a CD or a record and bring it home and listen to it, and that's fun too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Mingus, do you have anything to add to the interview?
What do you think?
You can whisper it in my ear if you want.
What was that?
I'm listening. I don't speak cat.
I think he's making a plan.
What kind of plan?
I don't know. Or he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
He might just be hanging out.
Yeah. We're cool people to hang out with.
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of any more questions, Mike.
Cheers. Thanks for coming over to hang out.
Thanks for having me, Mike. This has been great.
It has been great.
It's been fun to learn a little bit more about you and your music and your cat.
And my cat.
Yeah. Well, I do this thing at the end of each episode. It's kind of cheesy, but I look at the camera and I
like
say,
cheese.
I count to 3 so we can be in unison when we say it together. But look at the camera and say, Winona, I love ya.
Okay.
Will you do that with me?
Is that love you or love ya?
Well, it's the name of the show is Winona, I love you, but it feels a little less cheesy to me if I just say, yeah.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Winona, I love ya.
Hold my clothes. I don't want no suitcase when I'm traveling down the road. So I went to my mother, 'cause my mother said, if you don't quit that guitar playing, you're bound to wind up dead. I said, well, now, mama, there's some holes in my shoes. I'm 10 miles down the road with a case of the walking blues. So I went to the preacher, 'cause the preacher said, if you don't quit that guitar thing, you're bound to wind up dead. I said, well, now, preacher, let's have some fun. You know, just a couple miles from Vicksburg, and they call me the seventh son. mindset. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. I'll be back in a second.